Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The altitude of Mexico City hangs heavy over the circuit as we return to the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez. But now it's time for the big boys, GTP, LMP2, GT3, as it's round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. 75 minutes of intensity in the thin air of the Mexican capital. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod in the commentary booth, and of course, Jonathan Grabowski behind the scenes, making sure all the viewers here on Apex Racing TV have the best seat in the house. This place is a test unlike anywhere else on the calendar. The cars struggle for horsepower at elevation. The bumps upset the rhythm. The launch down the massive front straight tempts bravery, but the Foro Sol Stadium section demands restraint. This isn't a track you simply attack, it's one you have to respect. And Larry, the championship stakes are razor sharp now, with GT3 pros Leo Dragotta of Orion Racing holding the lead, but only by 3 points over Jordan Rick-Sagrini. And meanwhile, in GTP, Dalton Fredericks of HSR Phantom Racing leads Rosso Esports Daniel Molina by just one single solitary point. One race could flip both championships tonight. Larry, good evening, and after a long week here in Mexico City, buenas noches.
Buenos dias, senor. Yes, we are back in Mexico City. It was a good week to sit back, eat some tacos, and drink some tequila, and just wait for the World Challenge, which we've got tonight. You mentioned a couple of classes where the battles are so tight. I don't even think you mentioned GTP, which you've got 4 drivers within like 6 points or something like that.
Yeah.
Just insanely tight. And tonight is going to be one of those. We got 37 cars in in the field tonight. We saw how in the sports car series, it was difficult to work the traffic through last week. It may have affected some of the outcome. I suspect the same could happen tonight now with our 4 classes. This could be intense. It may just be a test of survival here on the streets of Mexico City. It's as the second half of the season gets started, this is when you really got to lay down and get good points. It's going to be tough racing tonight, but that's why we're here.
That's it. All right, so Larry, we are deep into Speed Lab qualifying, 8 minutes down of a 15-minute session. Some of our GTP drivers already working their final flying laps, like Daniel Molina, who we just spoke about, Michelle Squarick as well. And as our GTP racers now, as we're watching Daniel Molina take his Porsche out of the final corner onto the front straight to complete his final flying lap. He goes to provisional pole, and you'll be able to pick out our GTP racers. They've got the black number boards and windshield banners, etc., on the sides of their cars. And Michelle Squarick and Dalton Fredericks complete their last flying laps, not able to meet Molina's times. Here is Robert Schwenkler from the Wrong Stuff, who is our fastest GTP racer in his Cadillac during testing this week. He's working his final flying lap, and he's got to find, Larry, almost a full second as he goes out of the stadium section, through the final corner and on to the front straight. Can he improve from 4th fastest? And as he crosses the line, no, he turns in his fastest lap time, Larry, but he is not able to improve. Stephen Hudek, though, on his 2nd fastest lap, he does now improve, goes up to 2nd fastest. Now, besides our GTP racers, we also have our LMP2 drivers like Kevin McPherson, who we're watching right now in the number 26 Dallara. You'll be able to pick out all the LMP2 racers because they've got the blue number boards on the sides of the cars, blue mirrors and windshield banners, as McPherson comes out of the final corner looking to improve upon a 138.51. He's got about 15 hundredths to beat out Alex Crow for pole position in LMP2. He's not able to do it. Jordan Butler, 4th fastest. He is looking to improve on a 139.01 as he now is coming onto the front straight on his final attempt. And does Jordan Butler improve? He improves, but does not improve his position. It looks like he's going to start on the outside of the front row. Let's move over to GT3, where we're watching Mike Dam now. He's just completed his final flying lap. Mike Dam, 2nd fastest here in the in qualifying and Speed Lab qualifying. And of course, we've got both our pro and AM category drivers as we now watch here Jeff Jacobs, one of our pro drivers. A new livery for Jeff here, but like all of our pro racers in GT3, he's got the red number boards on the sides of the car and the hood. He's got the red windshield banner and end plates on the wings as well. Jacobs currently sitting 11th out of 12 cars in pro. And he just finished his final lap. That's his cooldown right there, so he's not going to improve. Our AM drivers as we're watching Aaron Sunday, what a transition. It's like Aaron came out of nowhere there. Aaron, who is currently our 2nd fastest AM driver, like all the other AM drivers, green number boards on the sides of the cars, windshield banner, mirrors, etc., Larry.
Yeah, could it be some tight racing? You can see there in the GT3 AM, pretty good side field. I think there's 12 of them signed up tonight. Everyone's chasing Chester Gidry, of course, your points leader coming in, and he's going to be sitting on that provisional pole, which really means he's kind of at the fastest of the AMs in the field. We do have Stephen Hudak currently now in the pole position here. He is the only of the GTPs still with laps to turn. He's on his last one. He's already got provisional pole by half a second over Daniel Molina. Hudak has been fast. He's been on pole before. As you can see here on board as he comes into the stadium section, just cuts across that curve. A long car like this has just got to be painful. This is part of the track, though, when we get to racing. The LMP2s and the GT3s are probably faster through here than these GTPs. So this could be an interesting night in the stadium when slow and fast cars all come together. Stephen Hudak bails on the last lap. He's going to sit on that 33.2, as we should put him on pole tonight.
All right, and we're expecting to have a pre-race interview, that being Nick Resputo in the the Segrini Soldiers Mercedes. We'll see if he can make it with us here as we have about a minute and a half, actually about 2.5 minutes, pardon me, remaining in Speed Lab qualifying here. As we're watching now Pan Hirday, who I believe is our last driver still out on track. And Larry, he just turned in his 4th and final flying lap. So Hirday going to go into tonight's race qualified 10th in the GT3 AM field. And, I'm wondering, Larry, as we get ready, we have had last week in the Mini Mite Sports Car Challenge, only a handful, I think 2 of the GT4 editions of the Ford Mustangs, but they really showed themselves to be incredibly strong going through the stadium section, which surprised me a little bit because of how tight and how slow that last sector of the racetrack is, but they were really able to kind of hunker down and motor out of some of those much slower corners. We've got a much larger contingent here in GT3 with the GT3 versions of the Mustangs, but I think the best qualifier that we have is Ethan Bass, who qualified 5th. So we'll have to see under race pace if things are a little bit different for them.
Yeah, we will have to see that. We do have a couple of Mustangs up there in the front 4 rows, Ethan Bass, and then the entire, we got Charlie Jose actually will be on row 3 there with Ethan, and Ilya Speaker, who's on the inside of the following rows. We got 3 Mustangs that will be all grouped together there on the start of this race. We'll see how they are when they come into that stadium section at the end of that first lap. I'm fingers crossed that it'll be a nice clean racing coming into there. It's going to be quite the pack coming in the first time with everyone coming in together, but let's just wait and see. I think the Mustangs stand a good chance there. I think even the BMWs, as you got Mike Dam right now on that front row, may have a good chance to do well through those tighter sections.
Yeah, indeed. All right. So now all of our drivers have completed their 4 flying laps as part of Speed Lab qualifying. And, with 10 seconds left on the clock here, we should see them start to grid up momentarily. But definitely looking forward to this. Again, a 75-minute race. It is late for this group here. I believe it is about an early afternoon, 1 to 2 p.m. Local time,
2:25
in Mexico City. So we should have pretty good amount of sun here for the majority of the races. We've got our drivers starting to line up. Larry, why don't you take the prototypes? I'll take the GT cars.
All right, we just saw him setting his quick times on the pole tonight in GTP from SRT Esport. It's Stephen Hudak. Alongside him is going to be from Rosso Esports, Daniel Molina. On row 2, another SRT Esport driver right behind her teammates, Michelle Squirk on the inside of row 2, alongside Dalton Fredericks, HSR Phantom Racing. Row 3 on the inside, it'll be Robert Schwenkler from Wrong Stuff. Alongside him, Carlos Barrero from Speed Lab Esport. And on row 4 in the GTPs, Rosso Esports, Fernando Takahashi, and Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports, Connor Nixon. As we move to our LMP2s, and the pole there tonight, Alex Crow from Majors Esports. Alongside him, Kevin McPherson from SRT. Row 2 is going to have another SRT driver, Caleb Lehman, on the inside, and Jordan Butler from DNA Motorsports on the outside of row 2. On row 3, then, all by himself, Purple Sector Motorsports, Jordan Griffin.
All right, let's move over to our GT3 combatant. Starting on pole tonight is Leo Dragota from the Orion race team, and starting alongside him on the outside of row number 1, it's going to be Mike Dam. Lucas Dragota, great run for him here in qualifying, driving the 119 Dragon Sport Mercedes. He's going to start right behind his older brother on the inside of row number 2. Alongside Lucas from Orion Race Team is going to be Brian Coxon in the 339 McLaren. And then we've got the first of those Mustangs driving the number 219 Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports Ford Mustang. It's Ethan Bass. Alongside Ethan is going to be Charlie Hosea, also in a Mustang for Rockefeller Racing. And then his Mustang driving teammate, Ilya Speaker, our fastest driver in practice early this week. He drives the number 86 car. He's going to start 7th. Starting on the outside of row number 4 is going to be Dre Divock in the number 12 Porsche. Dre driving for the wrong stuff alongside, and then we'll have our pole sitter in AM. That is going to be Chester Guidry. Pardon me, Chester going to be starting on the inside of row number 5. Alongside Chester Guidry in the HTPK Racing machine, the BMW, it is going to be Keith Stein from Rockefeller Racing in the number 48 car. Then we've got Filippo Barberi driving the number 186. He's going to start alongside Aaron Sunday in the 331 car. Then we've got Chase West in the 757 machine. And Chase driving a McLaren. He's going to start alongside Jeff Jacobs, who's starting 11th in the pro field, surrounded by AM drivers. Dan Carrizo then is going to start on the inside of the next row alongside Andre Wedderburn. And then we've got Nick Rasputo starting much further back in the field, starting 12th in pro. And he is going to start alongside Neil Weston from HTPK. Then we've got Adam Cohen from Speed Lab Esports alongside Stephen May from Mayforce Racing, Jesse Ansley from Speed Lab as well alongside Pan Hiraday. Then we've got Greg Brockway, and Greg will be starting there 36th out of all the GT cars, and he starts on the inside, and he will start alongside his teammate John Casey, both those drivers in the Acuras.
Lots of tire warming going on out there. Really want to make sure that you don't start this race on cold tire, especially in those prototypes. Could be just absolutely treacherous through some of these tighter corners, like down at the hairpin or even through the stadium section of the opening lap. So you see a lot of folks working some heat into those tires here on this pace lap behind the pace truck.
Yes, not even the Mustang this time. Now we get the pace truck. Maybe it's like the Pace Baja truck from the looks of it there, Larry. that would be apropos for Mexico.
I could use a tow vehicle. Look at that thing.
That's the pre-runner, as John Grabowski just said. And we saw this last week at the start of the Mini-Mite Sports Car Challenge, where the LMP3 cars had a lot of issues getting heat into the rear tires, and it really showed itself as they came here into the stadium section of this track, and just not able to get the bite in a lot of cars as they were just trying to get on the throttle through this very tight section. We're starting to go around as that pace truck now heads to the pit lane, turning things over to our pole sitter, Stephen Hudak, the Canadian, right alongside Daniel Molina as the starter looks over the field. And green flag, Larry, it's in the air here at Mexico City. It is the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, and we are racing for round number 5 of the World Challenge as the racers make their way down this 3/4 mile run into turn number 1. Hudak with the inside position and a move on Molina going down into 1 as our LMP2 racers now get the green flag as well, and they will make that run into 1 as Crow and McPherson, even as they come down the front straight heading into turn 1. Our GT3 racers now coming out of the final corner. The starter will look the field over there, and they will get the command to start here. And there it is. Green flag is in the air. The 2 Orion machines with Dragota and Dam, 1 in a Mercedes, 1 in a BMW, as they make their way down and join the field, Larry.
That's Jordan Butler starting the race from the pits.
And he comes out directly in front of the GT3 field. Mike Dam flashing the lights with maybe a little bit of anger there, as they know that LMP car is going to have some issues getting heat in the tires coming right off the pit lane. But there you go. Leo Dragota jumps out to an early lead over teammate Dam. Right behind him, Lucas Dragota, Brian Coxon.
It's your pole sitter. That's Stephen Hudak, your pole sitter in GTP, already with damage on the opening couple of corners. This is not good. We know that he was on that front row alongside the other Porsche, Molina. I'm sure we're going to here you go. Here's our replay queued up.
It was coming through the S's, Larry, coming through turns 9, 10, and 11.
Just lost it.
He adjusted his line because it looked like Molina had gone off early on in the S's there. You could see Molina rejoining.
Oh, you see that? It's a little bit of curb.
Ooh.
There's a bit of a high curb there on that last bit of the S's there on the left-hander, and it looks like he may have caught a little bit of that. Car got a little squirrely, especially on cold tires. This is unfortunate. We've seen Steven have some really bad luck in some of our races. This looks like hopefully just some body work, but yeah, he's going to have to get back out there. There are 8 of them in the field tonight. It's going to be tough to run for a podium in this field when you're already down on lap 1.
Yeah, and you know, Larry, right behind, just as Hudak had gone off, it looked like both Molina and Fredericks were fighting for the same piece of pavement there as Molina was trying to work his way back out on track, and Fredericks had gotten all the way over to that curbing, wasn't about ready to give an inch. As we jump back to the LMP2s, as Alex Crow looking to take over the lead here from Kevin McPherson, and look at this, Larry.
Oh, that's tight.
They are side by side coming through the chicane over turns 4 and 5.
Oh, and that's going to be a little bit of contact. They're going to go 3 wide, though, now coming out of that hairpin. The 2 SRT Esport teammates are just going to be fighting over the second position here as Crow manages to keep the car ahead. This is all on cold tires. These cars will take a couple laps to get fully heated, but the intensity of the competition is fully heated at this point. It is a raging inferno here on the second lap at LMP2. Didn't take long.
All right, so Crow now takes over or cements the lead there. And as you said, the 2 teammates, Caleb Lehman and Kevin McPherson from SRT Esport, now are going side to side there as they come in through the stadium section as well. McPherson getting a little better run through the early parts of that complex there, and will beat Caleb Lehman out onto the front straight. Meanwhile, Jordan Griffin had a great run through that section, made up about 2/10 on Caleb Lehman.
Lehman had a little bit of trouble entering the stadium there, got on the exit side of the curb. We saw some of that in the sports cars last week, where cars kind of high-centered themselves over there. Luckily for Lehman, is able to recover, gave up just that one spot to teammate McPherson. But this is another big spin. This is Dre Divock back here in the wrong stuff Porsche, and he's going to be doing donuts right in front of, I don't know who that Acura was, but one of them just came through. Let's catch a replay here of how Dre spun. See him on the short back straight entering the stadium. Already has some front damage there, and there's that curb. There's that high center again. Oh, and just parks himself sideways. That is
sideways,
a brutal
coming
place.
right out of the corner. That is that is painful to watch there as Divock gets back underway, but he now falls to the very rear of the field currently running. Larry, we've just gotten word from race control, and this might give Caleb Lehman a little bit of breathing room. Jordan Griffin in the 283 Dallara has been given a drive-through penalty. There was contact on the formation lap, and didn't catch who he contacted, but a penalty has been assigned. We'll see if John may have picked it up here. Let's take a look.
And it looks like it is. There you go. It's a 72, which of course is Jordan Butler, who we saw in the pits right before the race went green, and that's why.
And now we know why.
Yeah, taking a quick repair of the bodywork for him right there before the race even got started. There is another investigation under the way as well. Contact somewhere between Takahashi and Schwenkler, a couple of our GTPs. So Stewart's still looking at that one as we check in on that battle right now. You got Carlos Barrero right behind that red of Fernando Takahashi. Barrero still trying to hold off Michelle Squirk. Now remember, Squirk started this on the second row, I believe, so she also had some issues in that opening segment there, the opening laps, when her teammate Hudak, of course, went off. So Squirk now, here you go. Here's the replay of Squirk on the opening couple of corners. You can see her in that second row, made contact a little bit there, it looked like, with Fredericks, and then a bit of a spin. So, and then that's the Schwenkler course contact. So a lot of issues happening here at the start of this race already, only 4 laps in.
All right, but already now Leo Dragota starting to cement his lead. He is now opened up a little bit less than a second on teammate Mike Dam. And Larry, this is almost looking like what we saw last week at
same guys,
same course, same drivers, just different cars. is at least early and Dam start to walk away from the rest of the field.
They are starting to, and they're starting to pull up a little bit ahead of the other Jagoda and Brian Coxon, of course, the next two behind him in a row. I tell you, Leo has just been solid in anything he's driving. He is on a strong rhythm, just gets out to good starts in each of these races, and you can see him here enter the staging section. He's almost running the pace of Jordan Butler in front of him in the LMP2. You can see that Jordan hasn't really pulled away.
All right, as our racers are completing their 4th laps, let's jump back up to the front of the field, and this is the battle for 3rd in GTP. We've got Takahashi closing things down just a touch here on Connor Nixon. Takahashi in the BMW M-Power, Nixon in the Porsche 963.
Remember, these two qualified. These two qualified, I believe, the last row in GTP, and here they are fighting it out for 3rd. So good start for both of them with all the chaos and mayhem that seemed to have struck everybody else.
You'll see here, though, Michelle Squerick, Larry, who we just talked about her troubles, who was a couple tenths back there. She is...
she's right there with him.
Yeah, she's lapping at about 8 tenths faster than Takahashi and Nixon ahead.
As we go on board, she's not going to be able to go any faster unless she gets around him, because she's right there on the tails of Takahashi. Square, of course, in the Acura GTP. Takahashi in one of our BMWs. In fact, in the BMW in the field. We'll see if Michelle can find her way around these two. This is not the easiest passing type of track unless it's down the main front pit straight. After that, it's very difficult to really get your nose in anywhere. You can see here between coming out of the hairpin here at turn 7, coming through, then the S is very difficult to get side by side, really, with anyone, certainly in a prototype like these. So you got to get the draft, got to get the run down the front straight if you're going to make that pass.
And of course, Larry, I think we should note here that and you had talked about Michelle with some of her teammates. This is, I believe, the very first event that she is running under the SRT Esport banner, having been a privateer early on in this season. So great to see them pick her up.
Yeah, strong team there. SRT Esports, certainly with the 2 drivers here at GTP. And of course, we've seen the 2 of them in LMP2. So in the prototype ranks in both different classes, very, very strong fields there for SRT Esport.
All right, as we jump just a little bit ahead of that battle between Nixon, Takahashi, and Squerick, up to the battle for the lead, Daniel Molina in the number 22 Porsche with Dalton Fredericks very close behind, as they are both starting to work their way through some of our GT3 traffic here on lap number 6 as they make the quick run now down to the chicane over at turns 4 and 5, and it's not a quick run, it's actually a pretty long run as they come down here.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have a lot of GT3 traffic now they're going to have to contend with, and this could change the lead depending on how good Molina and Fredericks can be going through this traffic. The first one they're going to catch up to is one of our speed labs. That looks like the entry of, I'm trying to see who that is. Driver doing a good job, whoever that is, of staying out of the way, at least through there. Now, as we get to the stadium section, this is where I believe that the GTPs are actually the slowest through these really slow corners of no downforce. So as they make their way through here, trying to get past Neil Weston, and then, of course, a whole gaggle of others.
And it's going to get tight right here, Larry, as they make that right-hand turn to head into the stadium. And Fredericks getting caught up, stuck to the
Barberi.
outside. Yeah.
Yep. And then Jeff Jacobs, and he's got a Wedderburn then right in front of Molina. Now they're on the main straightaway. Not a good exit, though, there for Fredericks. He's really had to struggle there behind Jacobs before he can make this run. He's got to make this pass now on Wedderburn before he gets to the braking zone. But you can see he's really lost sight of Daniel Molina through that traffic.
Yeah, it lost almost 1.2 seconds just going through the stadium section. And Larry, this is not the day to have a 3 in your number. the number of your car. Fernando Takahashi has been assigned a drive-through penalty. That's the number 23 BMW. We were just watching the battle between Nixon, Takahashi, and Squarick. Squarick now getting around Takahashi, who I don't believe has come down the pit lane yet. In addition to that, the 03 Mercedes of Nick Resputo. Remember, Resputo started at the tail end of the GT3 field. He worked his way up to 8th, but he now has a drive-through penalty to serve as well.
It's the way the stewards are. They definitely are not hesitant to throw out the penalties. As we take a look at this little battle, a lot of things. This is now the battle of Takahashi right in the back of Squarick. But we know that Fernando's got a penalty to serve, so this may all be just a chance for him to stay close before he pulls in to serve that penalty. As Squarick now gets away through some of this GT3 field, through the stadium. Look how tight that is.
Of Jeff Jacobs.
So tight through there.
And Takahashi looks like he's going to stay out for at least another lap. You have Nick Resputo coming down the pit lane and serving his penalty.
See where that drops him in the field.
Yeah, that's so he had made his way up to, like I said, 8th and pro, which was, I believe, 10th overall. Which, given that he was all the way, he started, I think, all the way back in 23rd in the entire GT3 field. He had made up quite a bit of ground. He's going to find himself now back, looks like back to 20th in the GT3 field.
He's got some work to do. Meanwhile, Fernando Takahashi, who's got that penalty coming to him, is still trying to make his way through some of this GT3 traffic. And I'm actually surprised he didn't decide to take that penalty earlier, because he was coming up to some GT3 traffic. I was wondering if perhaps it would have been better to just drop back and take your chances later, as they GT3s will spread out over time. But nope, he's still in there. Meanwhile, we got this battle going on of Neil Weston trying to chase down Filippo Barberi. Barberi in front of him, Cohen in the only Ferrari behind him. This, of course, the battle, I think, for 5th in GT3 AM.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Barberi's currently in one of the Mustangs. He's running 10th in pro. And then there you go, Neil Weston in the HTPK, the yellow BMW. He is currently 5th in AM with Cohen, and then Stephen May, about 10 car lengths back from Weston and Cohen. And that last time through, May actually was the faster of the three. It was about 35 hundredths of a second faster than the two ahead, and he's starting to close up a little bit. He was that, you could see that red BMW, but he's still got about 15 car lengths.
All right, well, it looks like Michelle Squarick has caught Connor Nixon now, trying to make the move for 3rd, nearly making contact there as they are heading through the 4-5 chicane down through the 6 at hairpin. And it is now Squarick ahead into the 3rd spot in GTP. Now she'll see if she can set her sights on Dalton Fredericks, who's up the road, about 6 or 7 seconds ahead of her.
Seconds, yeah. I think somebody in the chat, oh, that's right, it was Stubby pointed out, Larry, that we are missing Bobby Childs here tonight for D2D Sim Racing.
Well, hopefully Bobby's watching the broadcast at least, and maybe having a bowl of ice cream while he enjoys a little bit of Monday Night Ricmotech. That's what I'd be doing.
Ice cream?
Of course. What goes better with World Challenge than a good bowl of Rocky Road?
Bourbon? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can always add a little bit of something to your ice cream. It doesn't have to be just all dairy products, but we're all adults here.
Well,
all right, so we've got here Lucas Dragoto now facing some of this pack here. Is you've got I believe you've got in this group a couple of.
I was going to say, and speaking of their Dragotas,
Molina.
Larry,
Yeah.
you know, as you see here coming through that again very slow section, the Mercedes of oh my gosh, Lucas Dragota, able to again stick with the GT cars just ahead.
Oh,
And,
that's a big slide. That's Dalton Fredericks.
And
I don't know
Larry,
he's
I
gonna
think
hit
he
any
put it
wall,
all the way
but-
around. He does.
So keep your eye out for Michelle Squirk. She is coming quickly. She'll be right on his heels in about 3, 2, 1, and you're going to see there she
it
is in the SOT Esport livery. Now, the battle
How you
for
make
second
a
is
7-second advantage disappear.
She just stuck her nose in there to try and make something happen. It didn't. So she also brought with her Connor Nixon. So now Frederick Squirk, Nixon, 2, 3, and 4 in the GTP class are right there on top of each other. Thanks to that mistake. Let's catch a replay now. As let's watch
Is
Fredericks
it curbing,
going.
or is it Lucas Dragota just scaring him to death?
Well, let's watch him use it. He gets a lot of that curb, and we're seeing this
Yeah.
now a couple of times tonight. That was the issue that hit Stephen Hudak earlier in the race to cost him some damage. Now, at least for Fredericks, he doesn't have the damage, but he certainly did have loss of track position and now potentially a loss of position if these two behind him that are hot on his heels can start to make this pass. And there's GT3 traffic in front of him. That looks like Brian Coxon, currently 4th in GT3. He's going to try and yield out of the way. And then he's going to have to get around Lucas Dragota again for the second time in 2 laps.
All right, Fernando Takahashi has now served his drive-through penalty.
By the way, Stephen Hudak is back out on track after taking his repairs. I did see him earlier in one of the shots. As there you see, in fact, he's right in front of Daniel Molina, the overall race leader. They are about 5 laps apart.
Yeah, I
based
was
on the
just going to
repair
say
time.
Molina's just about to complete lap
Yeah.
number 12, and
But Hudak is out
working
there
lap
certainly
7.
lapping at a pretty good pace.
Yeah.
And so if you do see another SRT Esport, it's not necessarily Michelle Squirk. In this case, it's the Porsche GTP, the Canadian Stephen Hudak. There he is right in front of race leader Daniel Molina, who he'll probably point by here if I had to guess, rather than give a draft to Molina.
So interestingly enough, Larry, the pit window for the GTP cars, I had down probably opening up at around lap 12, and I'm wondering how many laps ago did Hudak go back out? Well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter because he's only on lap 7 at this point.
Yeah, that's gonna be the issue.
Yeah.
He is 5 laps down.
Yeah.
From the leaders in the race, so that'll be a struggle for. He's just hoping maybe that some bad luck befalls everyone else. He's got a chance to rack up a couple of points here, or he's just out here for the good practice at this really fine racetrack, and that might just be best use of his Monday night.
All right, Nick Rasputo's night of problems continues. Let's take a look at the Mercedes here, and that looks like
is,
a mechanical
deliberate.
issue of some sort. Yeah.
That looks deliberate, like he just realized his night was over after some bad luck. Decided it wasn't worth continuing.
You know, Larry, maybe he was just heartbroken because he couldn't get in for the interview with you tonight before the race.
That
started.
could be it, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, maybe the Segrini soldiers have rules, and since he had fallen too far back, they just pulled him and said, "You're out."
That's it. You're out.
It can happen.
So he succumbs to Dia de los Muertos.
Yes, exactly. Is that today?
It was yesterday and Sunday.
Okay.
The 1st and 2nd of the month.
I know I had a lot of coworkers who were out today who may live in Mexico, so enjoying their Day of the Dead. Can you really enjoy the Day of the Dead? Maybe we shouldn't.
Well, not the people you're not the people you're honoring. No.
All right, back to racing as Fredericks now continues to lead this threesome of Michelle Squirk and Connor Nixon behind. And now, of course, you've got the GT3 leader, Leo Dragota. He's got no part of this. He is not going to necessarily just bow and let these ones through because he's got contenders coming up his tail. He doesn't want to give up track position too, so he's going to make these GTPs do it the hard way.
Yeah, make them work for it. Meanwhile, Dragota now has opened up almost 4.5 seconds on his teammate Mike Dam. As,
He's going to
the
follow
front of the
these
field.
prototypes. Now, he's faster than the prototypes through these tight corners like this 4-5 chicane. And,
Yeah,
but
well, look, we
yeah.
saw your brother Lucas doing very well in this section of the track as well, also in one of the Mercedes, which, you know, given the longer wheelbase of those cars, I find a little surprising. But, you know, they have shown to just be able to hunker down, to rotate very well. And also, Larry, as we watch through this section here, as they come through the S's, that Mercedes just does not seem to be phased one iota by the curbing here.
Seems to be doing very well over the curbing and certainly at a strong pace here for one of the two Dragotas. The other's doing quite well. But here we go. Let's take a look at how these Mustangs are doing. There's Andre Wedderburn in one of our Speed Lab Mustangs.
And Larry, there
See
must
what
be a
happened to
reason
him.
why we're watching Andre in real time here as we watch now as he
Oh,
comes
that's a
through
big
the chicane.
slide.
Oof. And that was through that 4-5 chicane. And the rear end of that car went around. And so, you know, maybe maybe there is a small difference between the GT4 edition of the Mustang and the GT3 cars. Besides a bunch of horsepower.
Couple of horsepower, just one or two.
As Alex Crow now working his way through our GT3 field, and Larry, he is now opened up a little bit less than four as it gets tight right in front of him.
That's spicy there. That looks like Wedderburn and Divock having a little bit of a spat right there coming out of the stadium. Wedderburn of the Mustang, Divock in the Porsche. We saw Dre having issue earlier. Looks like he's settled that. Now he wants to take the fight to Wedderburn.
the other
Crow says,
challenge is Wedderburn. Yeah.
Alex Crow's like, I just want to get through here, guys. Can we just figure this out later?
Yeah, he wisely let out of the throttle coming out of the final corner to let those two fight it out, and then decided to just take them on the front straight there. But Crow now with over 3.5 seconds on the rest of the LMP2 field. McPherson running second, Lehman running in third, and Jordan Butler, who of course started very late.
We've seen this before in previous weeks where it looks like maybe there's a leader breaking away from the pack 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then you get past that halfway break, you get past the pit stops, and suddenly things close up. So we're not going to hand the win yet to Alex Crow because those two teammates, McPherson and Lehman, are really not that far back. They could make a push here as this race gets going.
Yeah, and just the point that Butler essentially started the race from the pit lane and on the back foot here, but now Square taking a look to the outside of Dalton Fredericks as they come into the chicane at 4 and 5, and then come down to the hairpin. Of course, Square probably in the toughest position of the three racers here. She's got to be conscious of Connor Nixon directly behind in the Porsche.
Yeah, it's always tough to be the aggressor when you're in the middle of a three-way battle because every move you make on the one in front of you, the car behind you gets an opportunity to dive bomb you. So Michelle's got to be very careful at this point to not leave herself exposed to a move open to Connor Nixon as she's trying to make the push on Dalton Fredericks. Her best move is to really try to get the best run she can around that final corner and down that long front straight. That's where she can maybe make some noise. If she's not on the bumper of Fredericks' car coming out of the stadium, she's going to have a difficult time making a pass going into turn one. I don't know if she's close enough.
And nice little move there. John Casey in the Acura moving over to allow these three competitors through. Casey, of course, running for Rennsport Racing, and currently in 10th position in AM.
Oh, Dalton Fredericks had a little bit of a help there, had a Jordan Butler draft, and Butler, knowing that he's faster than GTP, is through these chicanes, is going to hold that position and separate those two competitors there between Fredericks and Squarek. Squarek can't be happy about that, but what else can she do? The LMP2s are faster through this low chicanes.
Yeah, indeed. And so now Michelle Squarek loses almost 1.5 seconds, and now has to look at what Nixon is going to throw at her because, you know, Nixon now doesn't have to concern himself as much with the driver up ahead, being Dalton Fredericks, as they make their way down through the S's now.
And Michelle's not getting a draft pull behind Dalton Fredericks, but too far back for that. So now Connor Nixon with a fair fight. Mano a mano maybe has a chance to take a pass and take a move to Michelle Squirk next time they're on the front straightaway. We'll see, because there is some more traffic continuing. It seems to be constant, again, with 37 cars in the fields tonight combined. You're going to see a lot of traffic, and now this has happened to be one of our Frito Sport, might be Brockway there.
I think that's Brockway, yeah.
Just barely getting out of the way as they go through the stadium. Nixon does have a chance, if he can get a good run around this final corner, to maybe make a move going into one on Squirk. Squirk's able to put the power down, though, in her Acura. So good exit there for Michelle to defend against Nixon in the Porsche.
Yeah, although Squirk, she seemed to open up maybe an extra car length coming out of turn 17, Larry, onto the front straight here. But look at this. Connor Nixon able to suck right up to the back of the 75 Acura, just not quite close enough, and a little wiggle there coming through turn number 2. But he now seems to actually get a pretty good draft off of the Acura ahead. Let's take a look as they come down into the chicane at 3 and 4.
Yeah, Michelle doing a good job here until she almost has a bit of a moment there, and Nixon could not make anything with it, but Michelle struggled there going through the 4-5 chicane. May have just given up a little bit more distance. I thought for a moment she'd actually closed up through the opening chicane, that turn 1, turn 2, and 3, but looks like she left that door open again and not able to close it. So we'll keep an eye on her continuing to close in, or trying to close back up on Dalton Frederick.
As they come into the stadium section there, Larry, that was a great shot that you can see how tall that curbing is off on driver's left. We know it affected a lot of folks last week in the Mini Mike Sports Car Challenge, and Connor Nixon drove right up onto it as opposed to right across it. So he got
You can get 2 tires on it, just don't put those 2 tires on the other side of it, because otherwise you're running the risk of a big old high center and a spin. We saw a lot of that happening. As they come down the main straightaway here, though, Squirk did a good job of using a little bit of GT3 draft. Might have been just enough to defend against Connor Nixon, as she looks very quick across these very tight curbing here through the 1, 2, 3 chicane. The problem seems to be the next point. That's where she's been struggling here at this turn 4, turn 5.
And if I remember right, Larry, wasn't she running in the LMP3 car last week? Because I thought she had some challenges at that section of the track as well. It's been her Achilles heel.
Yep, she did run last week, looking a lot stronger here tonight, a lot more consistent in this car, but she's got to close that gap up now to Dalton Frederick. They'll probably dispose of some of this traffic a little bit faster. She's got Stephen May in the BMW right there next to her, in front of her, and May drops right in front of Connor Nixon. Nixon can't be happy about that.
No. So exactly what we saw happen to Michelle Squirk 2 laps ago now has affected Connor Nixon, and Nixon now loses about 8/10. But we'll see here as they get into the stadium section if he can close things up. And again, I guess the key is not losing the draft when they come onto the front straight, that if he can keep close enough, he may be able to pull up. But Larry, it looks like now it's almost 10 car lengths separating those 2 drivers, and Nixon, I think, now out of the draft.
Squirk, though, did a good job there on that lap, actually paced ahead of Dalton Fredericks and picked up a couple of tenths, so they're starting to tighten up again here for that second spot in GTP. Meanwhile, let's flash to some of the battles going on in GT3. We got to look here at Ilya Speaker trying to chase down Aaron Sunday, but he's got the leader in LMP2 right behind him. That's Alex Crow. Crow going to shove the nose down in there to try and continue his pace. McPherson and Lehman are behind, and it had gotten to be over 5 seconds, but with this bit of traffic, Crow has lost some of that. Now McPherson just under 4 seconds back.
Now, remember, Speaker was your fastest driver earlier in the week in practice, Larry. He is currently sitting 8th in pro, And Aaron Sunday in that 331 Porsche ahead that Speakers just lost touch with after going there side by side with Alex Crow's prototype car for a bit. Aaron Sunday currently running second in the AM category, so that would be for just for overall position, not for position in class. Something that would be for position in class, however, Jeff Jacobs and Filippo Barberi, although Jeff Jacobs, yeah, he's going to head to the pit lane and take service here on completing lap number 18. And we are, as we are with all of the classes here, Larry, I think right pretty deep into the pit window. Pit window opened up for the GT3 cars about 4 laps ago. It does extend out for another 10, about another 12 laps though here. So that is going to move that driver up in position.
Well, take a look at this. There you go. The graphic on the screen is telling the story. Dalton Fredericks has been quickly reeling in Daniel Molina. So while Squirk is trying to roll in on Fredericks, Fredericks is saying, I'm going to leave Michelle behind. I'm going after Molina. Now to under 2 seconds between them. A little bit of traffic has definitely helped Dalton in his chase. But now the game on for overall in the race. Squirk, though, just a 1.5 seconds back. So your top 4 only separated by less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, and Larry, on that last lap, Fredericks and Squirk made up almost 2 full seconds on our GTP leader, Daniel Molina. So don't know if he just had some issues at some point on the track, but quite a bit off, almost 3.5 seconds off his fastest lap so far here tonight.
And he's got more traffic in front of him, does Molina. This is only going to further help Dalton Fredericks. You can see this. Look at that delta time. Now under 1.5 seconds. And you can see Squirk just 2 seconds back again. So things are really tight here at the front of GTP. We have got a super tight race on our hands. Now 1 second back to where Dalton Fredericks could almost feel draft. Even at this 180-mile-an-hour speed they'll be taking down this straightaway, Fredericks will feel a little bit of that draft coming off the back. As they head into turn 1, nearly 185 miles an hour, each one of them just screaming through here. But this, look at that, now 8 tenths between Molina and Fredericks for the lead in GTP. Who would have thought we'd be this close?
That's right, and Fredericks made up more ground through that 2-3 chicane, that quick little switchback, as they make the run down now into 4-5. And look at that, he is right there, just about 3 car lengths back. And Larry, they're coming up on some more GT3 traffic here as they come out of the hairpin, and they're going to start to head through those S's.
And you can see Michelle Squirk right behind them. There she is in her SOT eSport liveried car. 1.7 seconds. That's going to be down to nothing because they're all going to catch traffic going through the stadium, and we know how that's gone tonight. You can see we've got McPherson, who, of course, is running second in LMP2 right there in front of this pack. And then you'll have a couple of GT3s. There's McPherson in that 819 car. Oh, that's Lehman, excuse me. That's Lehman. Yeah, that's Lehman first. But look at this. Super slow through here. So they're going to have a lot of traffic. Things are getting tense. Molina's got nowhere to go. Fredericks is going to try and make a move. And then you look in the mirror of Fredericks, you're going to see Michelle Squirk right there as they go across start finish.
Well.
All 3 nose to tail.
And so, Larry, normally we'd be taking a break right about now as we're at the top of the
today.
hour. Yeah, we're gonna stay with this for just a little while as we've got now.
Oh, look at this.
We're just about halfway through this race as they come down now, down that long
Oh,
front
look at
straight,
that defensive line.
189 miles an hour, Larry, as they come down into turn number 1.
So much defense on Molina. Fredericks just nowhere to go. He kept trying to bait him into coming off of that inside. He wouldn't do it. Squirk right now behind. And that's actually Nixon now.
Nixon, yeah. I think we lost Michelle Squirk. I think Squirk had gone off down at turn 1. We'll go back and take a look here as they came under braking. She ran.
She tried to get a run through there.
Yeah, she outbraked herself, it looked like, Larry, and just ran
Oh, there
deep.
it is. It's that curb. She'd been playing with that curb all night. She would hit both those curbs. If she's on throttle, it works. I think in that case with the traffic, she got a bit out of rhythm. Not quite on the throttle. Couldn't get the weight where she wanted it. Luckily for her, no damage there, just loss of time. Now it's Connor Nixon, a second and a half behind this battle for the lead. Squirk is only 2.5 seconds further back. So again, you're 4.5 seconds here separating your top four. Unbelievable stuff. By the way, Carlos Barrero is only another 4.5 seconds back from there. So who knows? This traffic keeps heating up. You could have 5 drivers now in the hunt here for GTP. Oh, that's nearly contact for Fredericks.
Fredericks was tucked right underneath the
He's going to make the
splitter
move. There he goes.
Here he comes right alongside Larry as they're going to just drag race all the way down to turn number 1.
Good speed there for Fredericks. Gets a great run on the final corner. He's got the position going into 1. He's going to actually outbrake Molina into 1. It's a lot of speed to take off. Good job there for Fredericks. So we have a new leader in GTP. It's Dalton Fredericks.
And meanwhile, Connor Nixon, Larry, almost got into the back of Daniel Molina under braking going into 1. He's right there challenging that red BMW the red Porsche for the position.
I know we're itching to get to a break here, but I do want to mention one thing. While we got the intensity of this battle between Fredericks and Molina, how about we throw the GTP points up there for just a second, show you all what's on the line with this battle? It is a 1-point lead between Dalton Fredericks and Daniel Molina coming into tonight. There it is. Stephen Hudak, we saw hit troubles that faced him. He's 182, just 4 points off the lead. And there was Michelle Squirk, just 6 points off the lead. She's still in this fight. Unbelievable battles and points when it comes to what's happening here. And you can see a lot of tension going on there as the flash of the lights now are happening between Nixon and Molina for the second place, as Frederick seems to have a free run through the stadium for the first time in forever.
And meanwhile, Larry, Stephen
Hudak, Molina goes off. Yes, he goes off. Now, it looks like Michelle Squirk's gone by. She's moved up to 3rd. Molina's now down to 4th. He had an issue there at the tight turn in the stadium section.
And Carlos Barrero goes by Molina as well. Molina now just wisely heads to the pits.
Smart move there. You're at that point. Just get in, take the breath, take the break. This race is not over yet, but let's watch the replay of Molina. You can see them in the red car in that Porsche coming into the stadium. He goes to the brakes, and he just can't quite get his sled out. He runs wide all the way around, loses those 2 positions, and then heads to the pits.
And Larry, just as that was happening, I was going to mention that Stephen Hudak, for 2 laps in a row, although he's about 5 laps down, had just reset fast lap. Hudak is lapping almost 3 seconds a lap faster than our leaders.
Yeah, the problem is he's 5 laps down.
3 laps in a row.
Yeah, he won't be able to do anything with it, but he certainly is showing the pace that our pole sitter really does have. And it's been a couple of disappointing races for Steven, considering how fast he has been. He's had a couple times now where some damage and some wrecks and things have come to him. Steven's day is coming for sure. He may not win this season, but look out for that guy in a future season here in the World Challenge. As we flash to a couple of the battles, currently in 6th in GT3 Pro is Charlie Hosea. Trying to hold off I believe that's our AM leader. That is your AM leader, Kester Guidry.
Kester Guidry in the number 1 BMW. All right, Larry, as they come onto the front straight, why don't we take our break here? And hopefully we'll come back before all our racers start heading to the pits like Daniel Molina just did. You are watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. It's round number 5 for Mexico City. Please stay with us.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
And welcome back, everybody, to Mexico City. It's the Autodromos Hermanos Rodriguez, and it is round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsberg. He's Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, it looks as though, we saw where Daniel Molina had lost a lot of pace leading up to that fight with Dalton Fredericks and, Michelle Squarick and Connor Nixon as well. When he took to the pit lane after looking like he had maybe outbraked himself going into the stadium section, he apparently had a good amount of damage as he's still sitting there on the pit lane where he's been for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was damage he picked up on track or if potentially a sim rig issue, because he just suddenly pulled off. And as you said, he's now 5 minutes into sitting in the pits. Looks like his night is done. That's unfortunate because he was really dominant until something happened that could explain his pace falling off and the rest of the field catching him so quickly, as well as explain maybe him being in the pits. I just wish I knew what it was, and maybe Daniel will report back to us later on of what befell his luck tonight. But doesn't mean we don't have a great fight, because Dalton Fredericks, Connor Nixon, and Michelle Squarick are going to be putting on a show. As there's just less than 2 seconds between those 3 GTP drivers. They are doing their thing. And then, of course, you got the battle here. We're looking at the GT3s of Brian Coxon and Ethan Bass trying to chase down Lucas Dragota. So quite a little battle going on here, as it looks like Fredericks, your race leader, he's getting aggressive into the stadium with this battle.
Yeah,
look at the two teammates.
And as he goes through side by side with Lucas Dragota, Coxon, and Bass, that being the battle for third in pro right now, that's going to slow them up considerably. Oh, and our leader, Dalton Fredericks, goes around. That's going to move Connor Nixon up to the lead, Michelle Squarick in the second, and I'm sure Fredericks now is going to have to take to the pit lane. He does.
Wow, that was so close there for Connor Nixon. Let's watch the replay. So you'll see Fredericks here coming out of the stadium. I don't know if there's any contact. I think he does this on his own as we got the roof in the way.
Yeah.
All by himself.
Yeah.
And what you had there is you had Connor Nixon, the Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport GTP car, and of course Ethan Bass, who's in the teammate in GT3. They're together, but no one made any kind of contact. Luckily for the Orbit Drop Bear team, both of those cars get through unscathed, and Connor Nixon now is your new leader in GTP.
Yeah, and Michelle Square closing things down after her problems a couple laps ago over at this portion of the course right here, over at turns 4 and 5, as she's now within a 1/10 of a second, takes a look down to the inside.
That's more than a look. She's there.
As they start to make their way through these S's, as they're going to tighten up here in just a moment, and Square drops back in line as they're going to make a quick run.
She gets a good
12.
run. Connor's going to get a little bit defensive. Not enough room for Michelle. She fakes it, doesn't quite get there. And good run there into the stadium for Nixon. Let's see who gets the better exit, though, as they go out of the stadium, onto the final corner. And, of course, this is where Fredericks had his big spin. See the tire mark still there. Let's see what kind of run Michelle can get. She doesn't seem to get as good a run as Connor Nixon does. And Fredericks also was in when challenged by Michelle. Seems to get a better run there. So I don't know if perhaps Michelle's accurate, not putting the power down as well as some of the other platforms coming out of that last corner. That's Panhiraday just in front of them.
And Larry, it's just amazing to watch, knowing that these GTP cars are doing close to 190 miles an hour before they get into the brake zone. They then go through that little chicane at turns 2 and 3 at 55 miles an hour.
Look at this, though. Michelle does a great job, gets all the way up alongside under braking, but an up and under move now for Nixon as he's going to shove his nose down as they go around the hairpin at 6. They're still going to be side by side. Now we head to the S's, the 7, 8, 9 complex here. Michelle's got that inside line. This should be the advantage. Nearly contact with Nixon on the outside. Ooh, that was really close.
Yep, and Nixon had to check up there just a little bit as Square came right across his bow. So he'll now drop in the second, the number 75 machine, your new leader.
Yeah, another new leader here in GTP. This is becoming the class that no one wants to win, even though everybody does. Let's watch the replay here. Going under brakes. Look at Michelle go to the outside, going into 4. Awesome job in the brakes. Keeps the nose ahead through the first part of the chicane, the second part of the chicane, but this is the up and under move. That looked like contact, even though it may not have been for Nixon. Now Nixon's going to get a good run. I think if we continue that replay, forget that. We'll go back to live because Nixon's got to run down the front straight. Squirk is trying to weave. I don't know if she can weave enough. It's going to be a pop for Nixon.
All that much more. She made her one move, Larry, as they come down in the 1. And Nixon not quite close enough. But remember, Larry, that Squarick has had some challenges. Well, when she hasn't had a driver right alongside her going into that 4-5 chicane. And with the pressure ramping up a little bit now, with just about 25 minutes remaining and a lot of traffic around there. Let's see how she does.
Yeah, it's been very difficult. Such a big, lengthy car through these tight chicanes. Michelle does a good job. It looks like here she makes her way around the hairpin, looking back at Connor Nixon.
And might have gotten a little bit better jump out of there, too.
Yeah.
Looked like she opened up the gap just a little bit.
She's got some prototypes in front of them. Those are some LMP2s. That's Jordan Butler, of course, the DNA entry. Currently running 4th in LMP2. She's going to try and get by him before they get to the stadium. And then I think, is that Mike Dam, the next one in front, who's running in 2nd in GT3 Pro?
Exactly, yes. That is the number 93 BMW just ahead.
Michelle doing a good job. Nice patient there between this traffic. We knew that the GT3 car is pretty quick through that stadium. Waits behind. And then behind her, Connor Nixon is getting a run off of that same Jordan Butler prototype in the LMP2 that he just got around. But this should at least give Michelle at least one straightaway to breathe before she catches a couple of Frito Sport. That's a couple of Acuras. That's going to be Brockway first.
Yeah, and Brockway made a little bit of a weave on the front straight there that I think might have thrown Squirt's rhythm off just a little bit.
Yeah. She did a good job, Michelle, at least, making sure that she did clear Brockway. And in fact, Brockway ended up in front of Nixon going in there, so that helps her a little bit as we're in that kind of a battle now with 25 minutes to go in this thing. That's a deep run. You were talking about how she does with traffic through the tight chicane. There's a struggle point there. As Coxon's trying to get out of the way. I don't know that he can. Oh, that's Cohen there. My bad.
That's Cohen.
But Michelle struggled there for a minute with that GT3 car in her way. Allows Nixon to once again get right up on the back of Squarick.
All right, Larry, just a little update here from GT3 land. We had been watching that battle for 3rd in GT3 Pro with Lucas Dragotta, Brian Coxon, and I believe Ethan Bass. Bass did take to the pit lane to take service. It did not look as though he lost the position, however. So he is still sitting in 5th, albeit about a half a minute back from driver right here, Lucas Dragotta in the 119 Dragon Sport Mercedes, and Brian Coxon in the 339 Orion McLaren. All right, our leader in GT3 Pro, that is older brother Leo, now takes the 118 Orion Mercedes down the pit lane. His teammate Mike Dam now coming down for service, as well as it appears that our GT3 racers, as they're starting to hit the very end of that pit window.
We're going to see a trend
it's about
here.
Time.
Yeah, a lot of these GT3 cars, the wait of the last second. Lucas Dragotta just pulling in. I suspect we'll see Brian Coxon in the other of the Orion entries, and probably Chase West will be the next one. Yes, they're all about to be pulling in now. So Coxon, though, decides to stay out. And for Coxon now takes over the lead in GT3 Pro.
Yep, so Coxon, who had been running down in 5th in Pro, your new leader. We think he's going to need to come in for service here in the next lap or so. We anticipated that the pit window for the GT3 racers would run probably up to lap 30, and they are Brian Coxon now working his 31st lap.
Yeah, maybe he looked ahead and saw there's some free traffic. I can get one more lap in. I got just enough fuel to do it. So Brian's going to lead a lap and give that a shot. Meanwhile, Lucas Dragotta, Ethan Bass, they're still out on there. Lucas looks like he's going to try and take a run at Bass. But I think we decided Bass has not stopped yet, or did he?
No, he has. He has, okay. And I think he leapfrogged Lucas Dragotta there, and yep, Bass has come in. Yeah, and I think the difference there, Larry, and we'll see how things play out at the end of this race, as Bass came down the pit lane first, but was in his pit box only for about 0.8 less than Lucas Dragotta, and overall transit time was actually about 1.25 seconds. So it may be that Leo just was a little more tentative coming onto the pit lane, as we now have Stephen May and Adam Cohen onto the pit lane, Panhirde in his McLaren as well. And
in a moment, I'm sure we'll see Brian Coxon, the current leader, will take his stop. This should pretty much wrap it up, I think, once he does, and there he is now. Yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for all of our GT3 racers, Larry. Over in LMP2, Crow, McPherson, Lehman yet to pit, and of course in GTP we've had Takahashi with his run down the pit lane, as well as Barrero and Dalton Fredericks. Connor Nixon, Michelle Squarick yet to pit. I'm showing Connor Nixon now with a black flag, and I'm not sure exactly why. I don't see any steward call. That may, I think we saw this last week as well, Larry. I believe that when you get a slowdown penalty, it shows up in race control as a black flag. It shouldn't. It may show up as on the screen, but it actually shows as a black flag, which means he didn't. If it was a course cut, he didn't serve it, and now he would have to come through, or he's exceeded the number of incidents, if possible, as he's had a couple off tracks here tonight. So that might be his issue. This is now going to hand that lead to Squarick pretty soundly. Yeah, and it's going to put him in the fight. Larry, a drive-through penalty. That was not. Yeah. That was not a stop for service. No, that is definitely to serve a penalty. So, and I believe he still needs to stop for service. Yeah, as now coming down the pit lane, that is Kevin McPherson, who's going to pit in from second in LMP2. And then Brian Coxon, the leader from GT3 Pro, comes in, handing the lead back to Leo Dragotta. There was a penalty issue that we do know of. That was an incident involving Robert Schwenkler, of course, in GTP from the wrong stuff. He was in an incident with the Jordan Griffin LMP2 car, and I believe the penalty was actually issued to Griffin, but I think both cars suffered enough damage that I don't think either one of them has made their way back out yet. That's unfortunate. What that does mean is there's now 4 runners near the lead lap in the LMP2, and there's only 5 running in the lead lap of GTP. Oof, and there's your contact. Yeah, and that's going to take both of those 2 out of this race. What it does mean is Stephen Hudak, after his lap 1 issues and some repairs. Now past Molina and Schwenkler. Hudek now up to 6th.
Yeah, he's running,
There you can see
30th overall in the field, and still 5 laps down, but again, lapping at much faster pace than most of the drivers ahead, unfortunately for him. That is a hurdle just a little bit too high to cross. All right. Here, so now we expect to see Michelle Squirk and Connor Nixon come in for their scheduled pit stops rather soon. They are currently working lap number 36. We thought that the GTP pit window would be closing around the end of 36, possibly 37 laps. So they are getting to the point where they're going to
While we wait for that, we have a heck of a battle on our hands. That is the battle for 3rd at GT3 Pro. That's Ethan Bass, Orbit Dropper Motorsports Mustang. Right behind him is going to be an Orion entry McLaren from Brian Coxon. We saw him the last of the pit stoppers. And then Lucas Dragota, younger brother of Leo Dragota, in the Dragon Sport Racing entry. Now, Lucas running alongside, trying to catch a little draft there, I think, from John Casey down the front straightaway.
Acura, yeah.
And I don't know if it worked for him or not, but he's right on the back, almost pushing Coxon down the straightaway. Is this a move here for Lucas? No, he's going to drop back in behind him. Whew, that was tight.
And all 3 of those racers cleared the red BMW. That's Stephen May, the 53 car. May doing a good job there, keeping the car all the way to the outside. And then we have Dragota, Coxon, and Bass all get by.
There's contact.
Larry.
That is Coxon trying to push Dragota over, trying to block, and he just couldn't. Coxon now slides across the track right in front of Dragota. And, of course, at the same time, looked like Ethan Bass struggling a little bit in his Mustang, leaving Lucas with a shot here to take over that 3rd position.
Well, and I don't know if it's so much struggling for Bass, Larry, as Bass had to worry about the trajectory of the Coxon McLaren, which almost came across his bow as well.
Let's look at this from the chopper view here. As you can see, Dragota and Coxon. Dragota actually might have crept back onto the pavement a little bit too early. Bass doing a good job, as you'd said, to avoid the sliding McLaren. Wow, that was really close. There may have actually been contact.
Yeah, it might have been a small touch there, Larry. And again, it's not our jobs to play stewards there. Dragota definitely getting pinched right to the very edge of the curbing there, but it looked like he might have tried to come back over and
the stewards are looking at it.
Himself.
The stewards are going to look at that. It's a tough call to me. I did see Lucas at the last minute, maybe came back from the grass, but he really had no other option to go. The issue there might be, did Coxon move over and block too many times? We'll have to wait and see what the stewards have to say. This is the onboard from Dragota, as he's just there and trying to just stay alongside. But as you can now see, there goes the sliding McLaren. Wow. How did Bass see that coming?
I don't know, but I'll bet you he had his foot in that right pedal as hard as he could.
Your race leader, Michelle Squirk, is in for her service. Connor Nixon has not stopped yet. He did serve that penalty, but he goes by. We expect temporarily, as we do expect him later on to make his stop. Takahashi, I think, hasn't stopped yet either.
Well, Takahashi had that drive-through penalty early on, but he has come down for service, it looks like, Larry.
Okay.
All right, Michelle Squirk now rejoins for SRT Esports. She's going to rejoin in second. Dalton Fredericks, you can see him there in the shot, only 3 seconds back.
If you remember, Fredericks had that spin from the lead right in front of the pack of cars. All he did was pull down pit lane. He didn't lose that much time. Here you go. He's only 2 seconds off of the assumed lead of this race. Once Connor Nixon makes his stop, we expect Squirk and Fredericks to be battling for that lead. So speaking of battling, Bass and Dragota continue to battle as we're waiting on the ruling there on the incident between Coxon and Dragota. So that could play a big part in what happens here in this battle. As that's deep again.
And that was, I think, Dre Divock in the number 12 Porsche, Larry. That's the second or third time that we've seen him have challenges like that.
Yeah, that car's got a couple of bruises already on it as he goes through the stadium, and that's a lot of curb. Yeah,
not so ultimate any longer. Oh, that's right. That's BMW's the ultimate driving machine. What's a Porsche?
All right. Here you go.
Here we go,
Frederick's
Larry.
already trying to make the move and gets around Michelle Squarick.
And Larry.
And did you hear it?
Yeah. We just got word the incident responsibility has been assigned to Lucas Dragota for that incident with Brian Coxon. He is going to have a drive-through penalty to serve.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they were able to make a call like that. I do see Dragota maybe inching away from the edge of the pavement, but in my opinion, as a driver, he had nowhere else to go. And sometimes in the sim, you get the sort of magnetism effect when two cars get close, they make contact. One sucks into the other, and you're almost at the mercy of the way the two cars operate. So,
let's take a look at it again, Larry.
It's tough to tell. There may have been some turn in from Dragota. Just a little, but he's right on the edge of the grass. I mean, where's he gonna go? That's a tough call.
Exactly. Yeah, it's literally just a couple millimeters.
That's gonna take him out of this fight. If he serves that penalty, he'll have to come down pit lane. Does he serve it now? He does.
And he does. All right, so that's gonna free up Ethan Bass considerably there. Bass running third now in GT3 Pro, but considerably further back from Mike Dam, almost 25 seconds separating second and third place, as Connor Nixon now comes in from the lead in GTP. And Larry, we did hear that Michelle Squarick did take tires during her pit stop, so as she was trying to nurse those very cold tires around on the outlap, of course, Dalton Fredericks taking over second place from her, and he's opened up now over 2 seconds on Michelle Squarick. There's Squarick now just coming around one of the GT3 cars.
But if Squarick in fact has better tires, there's only 12 minutes left in this race, but she could have a pretty strong pace here for those 12 minutes, and as well better controllability through some of those chicanes. So don't count out Michelle Squarick quite yet in this thing. She might still have one more move left in her to try and take Dalton Fredericks out of the lead.
All right, and Connor Nixon rejoins, but he's going to rejoin in fourth position behind Carlos Barrero now, as Alex Crow finally coming in for his service, the last of our LMP2 Dallara racers to come in. The number 990 machine right at the tail, actually way beyond the tail of the pit window.
There's McPherson. I was going to say, it's going to be close. McPherson now just right on the heels. So we have a fight for the top in GTP and for the front of LMP2, as that Neil Weston needs to probably just move aside a little bit for the LMP2s fighting around him.
And Larry, I'm seriously amazed. We thought that the pit window for the LMP2 racers would probably close up right around the end of lap number 33. Alex Crow, even while out in the lead and maybe doing a little bit of fuel savings at the end of that stint, able to stretch things out to 35 laps.
That's an amazing achievement here. Now, though, with just a 0.8 of a second lead on McPherson. Let's see how these two start to fight now with just 10 minutes left in this thing. Does McPherson have any pace left in him? Now, we haven't talked about the points in LMP2 yet tonight.
Let's bring them up, Larry.
Real quick, it was Justin Barrera, actually, who had the points lead coming in. He's not here tonight. He had the points lead. Alex Crow and McPherson just 1 point separating them coming in, with Caleb Lehman and Pabeletskos just 2 points further
back from there, exactly, tied for the lead.
This Crow-McPherson battle means everything. With Barrera not here tonight, one of these two could find themselves in the lead in the championship in the next 20 minutes. So just in case you're wondering, we do count drops now. So that was a best 3 out of 4 so far. When Barrera's tonight becomes his drop, he's going to take on a 4th place finish. And so we'll see one of these two now, who one's going to get a 1st place, one's going to get a 2nd place. Good chance one of these two could be leading the championship. It's going to be close.
Let's jump back up here, Larry. It's Dalton Fredericks now coming out of the final corner. Gets a good draft off of one of our LMP2 racers.
And Squirk finally, she finally puts a lap in faster than Fredericks. Is it too little too late? Maybe not.
We'll see. That time she was about 3/4 of a second faster.
Yeah, you can see there it took 2 laps maybe to finally come into her pace. It's not over yet. 9 minutes to go, and there's your LMP2 battle. There's Crow. There's McPherson. McPherson, did he take tires? Does he have a faster car at this late stage of the race?
You know, hard to judge here, Larry, but his
that's a curb.
Yes,
for Crow.
it is.
He hangs on to it, though. But look at this on the exit. That can't be good, and you might have a new leader by the time we get to start-finish. Is that contact? Nope, no contact.
No contact at all, Larry.
But
just a much better run for Kevin McPherson, who takes over the lead in LMP2.
Unbelievable stuff there.
Let's take a look at this sequence again, Larry, because it just looked like Alex Crow was getting bounced from curb to curb.
Yeah, he hits the curb on the way into the stadium and then puts him on the wrong side to try to make the hairpin. Ends up
runs over that big sausage curb.
Yep, grabs another curb there and then just can't get the line, can't get the power down. But again, race isn't over yet. He led this thing from the green flag. Can he get it back? There's contact as they come out of the 1-2-3 chicane. Crow now on the challenge. He's right underneath the back of McPherson as they head up to the turn 4 chicane. McPherson's going to hold his line, hopefully for him, through a couple of corners here. And then it's going to have to happen back in that stadium again. We've got 7 minutes, 6.5 minutes to go in this thing. So it's probably going to be another, we'll call it 3, maybe 4 laps for these guys. Lot of racing still yet to come, but it's getting down there. Meanwhile, the other battle is Michelle Squirk, now less than 2 seconds back from Dalton Fredericks.
Yeah, she knocked off 1.3 seconds on that prior lap, Larry. Yep. She is starting to do more than whittle away at Dalton Fredericks' lead.
And you can see it through the chicanes and through the hairpin, how much of an advantage she has in the pace of that car right now. Less than a second back. Through these S's, that car should be a screamer as they head towards the stadium. Continuing to reel in Dalton Fredericks now. Michelle's got to be careful not to cut the course through across those curbs, getting very aggressive on the cuts.
And so, Larry, I'm looking at the amount of time that Dalton Fredericks spent in the pit lane. Remember, he pitted in early. Or at least much earlier than Squarick did, as he had that spin here coming out of turn 17. He only spent 11, almost 12 seconds in his pit stall. And the entire pit lane time was only 34 seconds, about 9 seconds shorter than Michelle Squarick, who came in likely on a much lighter fuel load. And although, again, she did take tires, but they'd be changing those tires while she was taking on fuel. And you have to wonder now if Dalton Fredericks isn't trying to save fuel all his life to try to get this car to the end.
Look at this traffic. Look at all these GT3 cars they've got to go through. They just got past Coxon, who's running in the 4th spot. Then they've got Cohen, who's a lap down from the rest of the GT3s. And then you're going to have, I believe it's going to be Bass, the 3rd place runner in GT3 Pro. And he knows he doesn't want to go letting anybody giving up any kind of pace. Like, nice move for Fredericks. They're trying to get around
Pan Hiraday's McLaren there coming through the S's.
Oh, lots of traffic here. As that's Brockway now going to get both sides passed. Oh, they're side by side. Squarick now on the inside as they head into the arena. Not giving up anything as Fredericks. He's going to try and hold this to the inside. But no, there it is, still on the inside. He's got to do better here than he did before. He's got the outside run. They're going to do it again around the final corner. Let's hope for clean racing. And they do. Now it's a drag race down the front straight. I'm curious who wins the drag race to the start-finish line, because that could be how the last lap finishes. We've got 4 more minutes. It could come down to that. Side by side, Fredericks again looks like he's got the pace. They are touching down the front straightaway twice, 3 times.
Square comes back over. Another contact as they go down under braking in the 1.
And Square's got a half of those ahead.
Now, and she is just clear. Wow.
Unbelievable. 3 points of contact down the front straight before they ever got to the brakes. They managed to somehow both get the cars woed down. Nearly more contact. Fredericks now, he's feinting one here. It's not really a move, but this has been the struggle point for Michelle all night. Was there more contact just on the brakes there? That was close.
It was close, Larry, but I don't think there was.
All right, well, now Fredericks.
They come now out. Yep, they're going to come out. They're going to head to those S's.
Fredericks has got to get the pace back. He's got to take a breath. He's probably got 2 more laps around here as we're just past the 1 hour, 12 minute on our way to 75 full minutes. He's got to find a way to close this gap back up. Might get some help with the GT3 traffic, but there's only one in front of Michelle. I think there you can see. And I don't know if there's anybody else. This could be clean racing now for the next lap and a half.
And there you go, Larry. She is now opened up about 5 car lengths on Dalton Fredericks, and I think we're starting to see where Fredericks is going to start falling off here as he's going to try to limp that car home. He loses another 6 car lengths just coming out of the stadium section.
While this is happening, Connor Nixon is trying to make a move to get past Carlos Barrero for the 3rd spot and trying to finish his night on the podium. There it is. There's the battle, of course, Nixon in the Porsche, Barrero in the BMW. And again, we're talking 2 laps to go now as they cross start finish. No white flag yet. I suspect we might see it next time, depending on where Michelle Squarick is when we get close to that 75th minute. So it should be white flag next time by.
And over in GT3, it is Leo Dragota, your leader, with Mike Dam and Ethan Bass. That's your top 3. And look at that, nobody around Leo Dragota. Much different evening for him than his younger brother, as Lucas Larry didn't appear to leave the pit lane after going to serve his drive-through penalty. And looks like his race is now done. But let's jump back over to this battle for 3rd in GTP with Carlos Barrero in the BMW, and he's got Connor Nixon right there, tucked right underneath.
Yep. He's going to try and use some of this traffic. He's got, of course, Jordan Butler in the DNA LMP2 there, and now he's got teammates. He's like maybe saying, "Hey guys, can you help my brother out here a little bit?" But nope, he doesn't get any help. As it looks like Michelle Squarick has now opened up a 3-second lead. She's going to come around and take white flag. 1 more lap.
One more lap here. Here it is, white flag in the air. Michelle Squarick working her last lap here, round number 5 of the World Challenge. Let's just jump back.
Oh, no. That's
and
Nixon
Larry,
now.
Yeah, you wanted help there.
Well, it looks like he got a little bit of help.
Yeah, it looks like Barrero might have had some help from his Speed Lab teammate over there.
That was some pretty close quarters there through the stadium. But they do make it through, but now Barrero for 3rd has a 1.2 second advantage on Connor Nixon as they start the final lap. 3rd step of the podium now is what's at stake between Carlos Barrero in that Speed Lab GTP and Connor Nixon, of course, in the Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports entry. There's a couple of battles going on here as well. That is the battle for 3rd in GT3 Pro of Ethan Bass and Brian Coxon as well, mixed in with the battle, of course, in GTP for the 3rd step of the podium. And I see Smoke in front of this battle. Someone just had a big
there along with Keith Stein in the Mustang.
Yeah, as I think in the middle of that is the BMW of Mike Dam, trying to just get through all this and finish his night 2nd step on his podium. But there is Squarick. What a race she has had tonight. It's been full of ups. It's been full of downs. But right now she's got one more down to get around, and then she can be on the upside. Wow, it does. Even at the end, it's going to be dramatic.
Yeah, I'd say one last challenge for you for the last quarter mile. Taking the win here in round number 5 in GTP, Michelle Squarick, Dalton Fredericks will come across the line and finish in second. Now we've got that battle for third place. Carlos Barrero, Connor Nixon, and Barrero now with almost 10 car lengths on Connor Nixon. He's going to come to the line, and Carlos Barrero will take the last step on the podium in GTP. Let's move over now to LMP2, where it's Kevin McPherson. He now has opened up almost 4 seconds on Alex Crow, as he now is working his way through the field here, through the S's for the very last time.
Yep, he's going to try and secure this victory, and what a win it would be for him. Again, had to come from behind. Alex Crow looked like he had this thing locked up. McPherson at the late stages had the pace and is able to get this done. There is your GT3 Pro leader, and it's about as quiet a victory as we've ever seen. This guy has been a machine lately, whether it's GT4s a week ago or GT3s a week later. Leo Dragota getting it done 2 weeks in a row in different series, dominant fashion every night.
All right, there you go. So it's going to be in a run. If he doesn't lose the car on the front straight before the finish line, and he doesn't, Leo Dragota, your winner in GT3 Pro. His teammate Mike Dam will come home in second. Ethan Bass will finish in third. And over in GT3 AM, Chester Gidtree taking the win over Chase West, who will finish in second in his McLaren, and then finishing third is Aaron Sunday in his Porsche.
Unbelievable. I thought there midway through the night we'd have maybe 1 or 2 battles to watch. Who knew we'd be watching 4 battles right up until the end on the very last lap? And Michelle Squirk had to be thinking, even in the last quarter, I got to come around and see a car park sideways. So much drama.
Coming out of nowhere. Oh, my gosh.
Can't wait to talk to him.
Let's do this, Larry. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk to our podium finishers. We also want to go and take a look at that those point standings in the GT3 fields as well, because things were incredibly close in GT3 Pro coming in, although I think Leo Dragota has, with his win tonight, has definitely, if not broken it open, has definitely done himself a lot of good. But we'll be back just a moment. Please stay with us.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name brand parts. Expert support. Ricmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, Mexico City, where you've just seen round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, and where you've just seen the biggest bullfight between a Mustang and a Mercedes.
And not a Lamborghini to be found.
Street. Yeah, nope, not at all. No prancing bulls, or, well, those prancing horses. Raging bulls to be found. Let's take a look at the finishing order, where Michelle Squarick took the overall win for SRT Esport, her debut under that livery, with Dalton Fredericks finishing second, Carlos Barrero finishing third. That is your GTP podium. Kevin McPherson, with his very first win on the season, takes it in LMP2 for SRT Esports. So great to see 2 SRT Esport racers on the podium, on the top step of the podium in the prototype fields. Alex Crow for Majors Esport finishing in second, Caleb Lehman for SRT finishing in third. Over in GT3, taking the win in AM is going to be Chester Guidry, where he's won his 3rd race in a row, Larry. I think that's 4 out of 5 so far this season. Finishing second, Chase West. And finishing third is Aaron Sunday. Over in GT3 Pro, it's Leo Dragotta from Orion, joined on the podium by his teammate Mike Dam, and then Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports, Ethan Bass will take the last step on the podium in Pro. All right, we've got, some of our podium finishers, some of our race winners sitting and waiting for us in the green room. Let's bring in first our LMP2 winner here tonight from SRT Esport. It's Kevin McPherson.
All right, Kevin McPherson joining us here. Kevin, congrats on the win, but man, that got absolutely crazy for that that pass right there with just a couple laps to go. Tell me a bit about how this race went for you, including that pass for the win.
Oh, that was it was just a sit back and wait kind of race. Ended up not taking tires. I think Alex did the same. He definitely had the faster car. Ran a really awesome race, but you got to keep it clean as well. He came out there in front of me after his drive-through, and it was now or never. So just had to go for it. I think we bumped a little bit. I was actually just pulling up the replay and kind of went wheel to wheel and actually raced for the win. So that was fun.
Yeah, it looked just amazing. And you guys came into tonight basically tied for second in points, a point apart. Any of that going through your head in the moments as the race was closing out? Like, hey, for points, I got to beat this guy?
No, he's been pretty. Him and the other guy, I've drawn a blank on his name right now. Yeah, Justin Barrera. They've been just like unbeatable. So I'm glad I could stick one up there. Our setup guy worked his butt off to get us to set up. We were pretty slow in the straightaways, but we're able to capitalize on the corners where I made the pass. And as far as the championship goes, just one race at a time. See where we end up. It's my first time in LMP2, so figuring it out.
Yeah, awesome job tonight, getting that victory here. We're going to talk to one of your newest teammates as well, who also got a victory for the SRT Esport. But tell me what it's like for the team to have this kind of success. Of course, you and Caleb, your teammate, ran real well here tonight, and now to be able to get a victory here. What's that mean for you and the team?
We're just got an awesome team, awesome guy building setups, lots of feedback from every driver, and it's just making everything kind of click. We have very similar driving styles between all of us, and then with Michelle, our setup was trash until Michelle joined the team, and they must have found something in the GTP that translated into our car, and so her feedback is probably why we had the opportunity to make.
Yeah, that's high praise. That's incredible. The team really working well, just clicking here in the world of prototypes. But awesome job for you getting that first victory here on the season. And we're going to try and check the point standings, as I think they've been updated. It looks like you're going to find yourself you'll be in second going into the next round, 7 points down from Justin Barrera for the top spot. So well done tonight, Kevin. But I know you've mentioned the team already. I'm sure you got others that like to watch in, other sponsors, folks you want to mention here?
No sponsors, just my wife letting me do this.
The best sponsor there is.
Exactly.
the spousal sponsor. So awesome job.
Sure.
Go celebrate with her. Great job here getting the win for SRT Esports. Kevin McPherson.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, Larry, let's move on over now to our GT3 Pro winner. And I think we decided that he took, I believe his second win on the season. He came into the evening leading the GT3 Pro field. We'll see how things are situated as soon as he's finished. And that is going to be Leo Dragota from the Orion race team.
All right, Leo, a dominant win here. I got to help. Did having the sports car race at the same track a week ago help you at all prepare for this thing? I know they're different cars, but getting the rhythm in the same track, does that help a little bit and lead to that success tonight?
Yeah, I've been driving this track for 3 weeks now, just straight, because so many leagues have gone here for MSC. Officials went here. And then I had another league race for Apex Thursday here, and then I had this here. So
yeah,
just been driving this track for like basically the past month. So
you gotta start speaking Spanish. You get so much lap time here at this track. But awesome job, just dominant here tonight. You really can tell, because typically on most nights you and Mike are pretty evenly matched, but it seems you just had the pace tonight that even Mike just had nothing for. Is the setup in the Mercedes just really clicking for you now?
Yeah, the Merc feeling pretty good. It's definitely just consistent and it's fast every lap. I think some other cars, they have a fall off, and especially that Bimmer, I think Mike was complaining that he was quick for some laps and then it would start to fall off, but this Merc is good every lap, and yeah.
Yeah, well, it just worked so well for you. The car was managed well, the pace was incredible, and for you getting your second win on the season here. But I know you've got teammates, friends, family, and everyone else probably watching in to help you get this victory here.
Yeah, Orion, Huffy, all you guys for the league, broadcasting the league, and then people who put on the league, parents for karting. Excited to go to Daytona this winter for kart week.
Awesome.
And yeah.
All right, well, that sounds like a lot of things ahead, but what's behind you now, hopefully, is 3 weeks worth of the Hermanos track here in Mexico City, but it led to a lot of success, including a win here tonight in GT3 Pro for Orion Race Team. Your winner, Leo Dragota. Congrats.
Hey.
All right, Larry, and sounds like Leo hasn't had any sleep for those 3
That's
weeks.
what it sounds like.
Either.
Sounds pretty tired, grinding laps, but hey, whatever's working for you.
Rest up before Daytona, my friend. All right, and as we do have the points updated, Leo Dragota now with a 14-point advantage over Ethan Bass from Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports. Jordan Rick Segrini, who was not here racing with us tonight, still sitting in third. Another 10 points back. All right, let's move over now to, we'll go to a GT3 AM, and our winner tonight, third in a row, 4 out of 5 on the season, racing for HTPK. It's Chester Guidry.
All right, Chester Guidry joining us here. And Chester, you really locked into a rhythm here with this car and with this this series. Another win coming for you, but none of them are easy. It looked like a lot of traffic and a lot of battling, whether it was with the pro class or whatever. But how'd that look from your standpoint tonight?
Well, Greg, Larry, at this point, I feel like we're becoming best friends. We've been having a lot of conversations here lately, and it's not getting old. I'm enjoying this. So good to talk to you guys again. The HTPK BMW was on rails tonight. There was some quite a bit of traffic. You know, this is a really rhythm-based racetrack, and so when the faster traffic will catch up, if it throws you out of your rhythm the slightest bit, it can really snowball from there. So just trying to pound it in my head to, ease off the throttle, get back into the rhythm, stay focused. But yeah, it went really well. This track seems to resonate with me, which is kind of rare for a new track for me. I usually struggle at these new tracks, but this one, something clicked, and I really enjoyed racing here tonight.
Yeah, it is definitely clicking for you. As you mentioned that the BMW and you are just sort of in a groove right now with, what did we have, 4 wins in 5 rounds. for you. Pretty soon they're going to bump you up to the pro class, but you wouldn't be doing so bad either. You seem to have a couple of battles going on tonight. Does that get into a better rhythm for you when you start chasing down, seeing a lot of the red windshield banner guys around you?
Yeah, absolutely. When I have a rabbit to chase, it's easier to focus in and get settled and get into a rhythm. So yeah, me and Charlie Hosea had a really good battle going there. It really helped me to stretch out the lead. Charlie was fast enough to stay in front of me and not hold me up, and he was actually pulling me with him. So that really worked out. I even kind of sent him a radio message at the end and told him thank you, that was fun to battle with him.
Yeah, incredible run here tonight, getting another victory here for you. But I know you've got teammates and others you probably want to give a shout out to here while you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So the folks at E-Labs, Ricmotech for sponsoring the series, all the folks with HTPK Racing, my friends and family that watch the show, the SCCA Foundation, and then finally my wife Ashley for all her support. And thanks to you guys as well.
Greg, got some smart ones tonight. Guys who are thanking their wives as their supporters and their crew chiefs. So awesome job with the thanks there, Chester. Good job there, and I'm sure your wife appreciates it. Congrats though on the victory here tonight for HTPK. Chester Guidry getting the win.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
All right, good night, Chester. All right, finally, Larry, let's move over. And actually, let's take a look here at the GT3 AM point standings with 5 rounds in the books. Chester Guidry is your championship leader, 263 points, 12 points up on tonight's second place finisher, Lead Paul Racing's Chase West, with Aaron Sunday sitting in third. All right, let's move over now to our overall race winner, taking, I believe, her very first win, certainly her first win this season in the World Challenge, driving the SRT Esport Acura ARX 06. Your winner tonight in GTP, Michelle Squirt.
All right, Michelle, you come in with the SRT Esport banners now on the car, and all you do is get your victory in your first race under the team. Well, how you feeling, and how'd that race go for you?
Oh yeah, new colors, new chassis. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Awesome debut for SRT. Awesome. Thank you to all of them. We were all working to build this setup together last week. It was absolutely amazing. That race was all kinds of up and downs. I got forced off at the very start, so I had to slow down and had to work my way all past every single car that didn't get involved in an accident. And then testing had shown it was better to take tires, and I had to then make up for that mistake with, about 3 minutes left. So, wow, that was intense.
Yeah. Well, second to last straightaway, or a couple laps to the end there, you and Dalton had quite the battle all the way down that front straightaway. How many times did you count slight contact was made before you guys sorted it out down in turn 1?
Oh, it was... I was losing track. I felt like I was back in my Spec MX-5, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just one of those where you just sort of like a little bit of taps, just sort of make sure you know each other is there all the way down and in. And Dalton didn't back down, you didn't back down. It looked just like amazing stuff. And at one point, today how crazy the race was. At one point, 5 different drivers in an 8-car field actually led this race for the GTP. So unbelievable, as you talked about the ups and downs of it. The other down almost was right at the end, the last lap. You come around the last corner thinking all I got to do is see the checkered flag, and there's a car parked across the middle of the track. Oh my
gosh, my heart stopped. My heart absolutely stopped when I saw that. But luckily I had enough of a gap. I'm like, all right, I can just bring this to a stop if I need to. So yeah. Oh, at least I didn't have Dalton breathing down the back of my neck through there. But yeah.
It was unbelievable stuff there, but if it's just one more corner is all you needed, and you end up getting that victory. Crazy night for you, but I know that you've got so many folks that you want to probably thank and mention here for helping you get the win tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mentioned it. My new teammates over at SRT Esports, and I do want to have a special shout out to for my mom. I wasn't able to have the paint I wanted to because November is National Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. My mom is fighting that battle right now. So next week, you'll actually see me in a black and purple car. So look forward to that. But yeah, special shout out to my mom. Love you. Hope you're still watching. I did it.
I hope she's watching and enjoying and smiling, watching you get victory here tonight, Michelle, and I hope she's doing well as well. So congrats tonight on getting the victory. Michelle Squirk from SRT Esport.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Michelle. Hey, Larry, so coming into the evening, we talked about how I believe there was only 1 or 2 points separating our top 2 drivers in GTP, and I think 6 points separating the top 4. And as we take a look now with our updated point standings, Dalton Fredericks, he is your points leader. He came in second on track tonight, but he still maintains a lead of just 2 points over Michelle Squirk. And then only 8 points back from them are both Daniel Molina and Stephen Hudek, who are currently tied for 3rd position. So 10 points separating our top 4 drivers in GTP. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got coming up in the next couple weeks here on our Ricmotech schedule. All races starting Monday night, 8:10 p.m. And next week, it is the return of the Mini-Mite Sports Car Challenge. Round number 6, we're going to be heading to Austria, going to be heading to the Red Bull Ring for a rain race. So get ready, guys. Get your slickers out and your galoshes and maybe your lederhosen too. I don't know. But that should be a great race for our GT4 and LMP3 racers. And then in 2 weeks, round number 6 of the World Challenge, we head to Italy. We head to Imola for another 75-minute battle. And then in 3 weeks, the Mini-Mite Sports Car Challenge heads to the Netherlands, heads to Zandvoort for one of their 75-minute endurance races. So that's going to wrap things up here tonight for us. I want to thank Larry Lefty McLeod, of course, and Jonathan Grabowski behind the scenes. I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next Monday night, 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.